Launching in December 1981, the BBC Microcomputer very quickly became one of the most popular home micros in the UK. With hundreds of games being developed over the following years, here is a selection of my personal favourites. Let's play some Beeb games. Hi and welcome to Bytes and Bits. The BBC Micro was actually my second computer, which I got hold of in about 1982. It was a great machine for learning about computers and programming, with BBC Basic being one of the best implementations of that language. But of course gaming was probably the biggest use of the computer. So the games in this video are actually my favourites from the time, so not necessarily the best Beeb games, but the ones that I enjoyed most owning and playing. So let's get straight to the games. When I first got hold of the computer, I wanted to play some of the games straight from the arcades. So these first few choices are what I consider still to be the best arcade conversions on any platform. First up is Planetoid, which was one of the early games released for the BBC. It's a clone of Williams Defender, where you play in a side-scrolling world with humans walking along the ground and aliens trying to grab hold of them and pull them up to the top of the screen. If an alien does succeed, it turns into a mutant which then hunts you down and is incredibly hard to shoot. Other enemies also add to the excitement in this very fast-paced shoot-'em-up. For me, the mix of fast gameplay, great sound effects and the ever-increasing challenge makes this a hard game to put down. With 7 control keys though to master, it can take a while to get going, but once you've mastered these, you'll have endless hours of fun mastering the actual gameplay. If I had to choose, I'd play this version over the original arcade game. Every computer system needs a version of Pac-Man, and Snapper, again from Acornsoft, delivered the full arcade experience to the Beeb. It's a great clone, capturing all the gameplay and excitement from the original. At a push though, I'd say the sounds could be a little bit better, and the ghosts don't quite move quite as sneakily as the Arcade 4, but it's still a fantastic game that I personally spent hours of my childhood trying to master. Definitely another one for you to have a go yourself. Asteroids was one of my favourite games from the arcades, which you can probably guess if you look at my programming courses. So Meteors is yet another clone from Acornsoft, which delivers one of the best 8-bit conversions I've seen on any platform. Okay, so we've lost the pin-sharp vector graphics from the original, but all of the gameplay and all of the elements are there in a perfectly coded piece of software. So have a go at playing this version, and if you enjoy the game, why not have a go at learning how to code it for yourself? I'll put a link up in the top right corner that will take you to my full coding Asteroids course here on the channel. One of the great things about the 8-bit computer age was that anybody with a bit of coding skill could put together their own game to rival the big companies. This meant that on top of the normal arcade conversions, you got hundreds of very original games coming onto the scene. Galactic Firebird was another great shoot-'em-up game for the Beeb, which I bought when it first came out in 1983. It's a great mix of, well, pretty much every arcade shooter game that you can think of, all packaged into one all-action blasting fest. So if you like games with the simple left, right, fire and kill everything that moves gameplay, this is definitely one for you. Frack is an original take on the side-scrolling platform game. With large, colourful graphics, you play a caveman Trog who has to navigate a series of platforms and ladders to find 3 keys hidden in each level. There are large static enemies blocking your way, but you're armed with a deadly yo-yo that you shoot out horizontally to knock them off the screen. Random daggers fall from the top of the screen and balloons rise up from the bottom. If either of these hit you, you lose a life, so you either have to dodge them or shoot them with your yo-yo. When I first played Frack, I remember being amazed by the size and detail of the graphics and animations. The gameplay is great, and it takes a lot of trial and error to work out the best route through each of the 3 levels. If you do manage to complete all 3 levels, the game then repeats by flipping the screen upside down. If you then complete those 3 screens, you get further rotations and eventually the screen turning on and off as you go through subsequent run-throughs. Having said that, with only 3 lives, I think I've only ever managed to get through the first 3 screens a couple of times. So, if you like pixel perfect jumping with a bit of problem solving, this game is definitely for you. And yes, there really is a hacked version with adult graphics and a caveman who really does swear. Having grown up on a diet of Commando and Warlord comics, I've always wanted to be a Second World War fighter pilot. When Aviator was released in 1983, I just had to get a copy. So at the time, this was a groundbreaking flight simulator that accurately modelled a Spitfire. Looking at it with modern eyes, it's very simple and very sparse wireframe graphics look very basic, but generating a 3D world with hills, fields, a town and a bridge with an airfield to land on was cutting edge for a home 8-bit micro. Mostly you'll be flying by watching your instrument panel, and yes, the screen updates at about 5 frames per second, but come on, you're actually getting to fly a real fighter plane. What more could you ask for? Written by a physics graduate, this was one of the first flight simulators with an accurate physics model that we now take for granted in our modern simulators. If you're being picky, this probably doesn't rate as an actual game. There is a shoot the alien mode that you can play, but trying to find one alien in 100 square miles of terrain doesn't really make for a fast-paced shoot 'em up. But I've included it in my list, as I really did spend hours flying my Spitfire and living my dream. Starship Command takes us back to the more traditional space-based shooter game. Here, your starship stays fixed in the centre of the play area, with the world moving and rotating around you. The game area is much larger than the actual screen, so you have long-range radar panels to show you where the aliens are. The aliens come in 2 sizes, and they fire a range of missiles, and they've quite a clever artificial intelligence in the way they attack you. Some of them will stand and fight, some will attack you and then run away, and some will just try and ram you. The gameplay is excellent and gets really fast paced and exciting as the aliens hone in on you and your energy reserves start to deplete. When all else fails, you can launch an escape capsule, but you have to make sure it doesn't hit a ship, otherwise you die instantly. If you've accrued enough points, I think it's about 250 per level, then you'll be awarded a new ship and you'll move on to the next game level. This is a great original game that I highly recommend you have a go at. What BBC Microgames compilation would be complete without Elite? Released in late 1984, this instantly became the must-have game for the platform. Its 3D wireframe graphics with hidden line removal to make the objects look solid was almost unheard of on home computers at the time. Also, being able to split the screen display into 2 separate screen modes was an amazing innovation, allowing the Beeb to mix its high-resolution 2-colour graphics with lower-resolution 4-colour. The game was also innovative in giving you an open world to explore, so instead of following a set game story, you're free to roam around and play the game the way you want to. The basic game involves trading, so you buy items on one planet, fly to the next, and then sell them at a profit. You can trade legal cargo or illegal cargo, but expect the Galactic Police to start hunting you down if you go rogue. Pirates will also try to ambush you, so you'll have to learn how to defend yourself and kill them for both their bounty and salvaged cargo. The gameplay and graphics are outstanding, and it always amazes me how they managed to fit this game into the standard BBC Model B. The 3D radar screen works fantastically well to show you where your enemies are, and I've seen this copied in numerous console and modern games. Even by today's standard, this is a great game. So if you've never played, make sure you boot up your emulator, load up the disc, and have hours of fun. One game that never seems to get a mention, but which I still enjoy playing today, is Monsters, again from those talented Acorn Soft coders. In this game, you have a number of platforms you can move around on using ladders to go up and down. The monsters are trying to capture you, so you have to dig holes in the platforms to trap them first. When you fill the hole in, the monster falls to its death. Different coloured monsters have to fall different heights before they die, so you need to line up a series of holes and lure the monster into the topmost before filling it in. Great gameplay, great sounds, and fast-paced action make this a really enjoyable game. The last game I'm going to single out in this list is Killer Gorilla. This is a Donkey Kong clone released in 1983 by Micropower. It was programmed by a 17-year-old Adrian Stevens, which just shows you how the bedroom coder phenomenon was alive and thriving. It's a standard but very well executed version of the game, where your character has to make his way through a number of levels, avoiding the obstacles and saving the girl. The graphics and sound are good, but the gameplay is excellent, making this probably, I would say, the best Donkey Kong conversion for the BBC Micro. This list only scratches the surface of the BBC Micro catalogue. These are games I played and enjoyed before selling my Beeb in about 1985. There are hundreds of games which deserve a mention, but I'll leave you to discover those by yourself. Make sure you check out my video on how to turn your PC into a BBC Microcomputer. I'll put a link up in the top right corner. And make sure you like this video, subscribe to the channel, and turn on your notifications so you don't miss any of my other upcoming videos on retro computing, programming, and making topics. So hopefully I'll see you in another video, and bye for now. For more games programming, electronics projects, and retro gaming, please make sure you like this video, subscribe to my YouTube channel, and visit my website.